Tashidele, bonjour and demat everyone. I started my journey to French Alps from home at 11:45 this morning. Thanks to my dearest Duni who drives me 30 minutes in avance every time.
Cecilia Arend once said, "Home is where your feet may leave, but not your heart." It's not a place, it's a feeling. And then just have a look how beautiful it is, my hometown, Morlaix. Au revoir. And voila, finally reached Paris, where 2024's Olympics were still on. But me, I need to hurry up to catch another correspondence at the station of Gare de Lyon, which will take me to the south of France, where I need to get down at the station of Chambéry again. 5 years ago, I used to feel sad about France not having Krispy Kremes, which is my favorite donuts of all. But see, patience are bitter, but the food is sweeter, much more sweeter. So here we are at the Gare de Lyon, one of the 7 large main railway stations in France. Now I need to take the train to Annecy, where Chambéry lies right before. In the train, my seat was right next to a very kind lady named Monique, who was so sweet. Asks me if I wanted to taste her desserts, but I gently refused because I had my Krispy Kremes. We spoke about generations. She taught me about l'Évangile de Marc and also invited me to Porte l'Ouverte d'Église Mulhouse. But unfortunately, since I have very little time, I couldn't say okay. Dommage. Oh yes, of course, we exchanged our numbers too, because she often comes to Bretagne because of her children who works in Vannes, just some kilometers near us. Oops. Voila, this was the hotel yesterday I stayed in. It was Nilo Patla Dreams. Sorry, it was Nilo Pala. The owner just corrected me. Cause the T is silent. So this room cost me around 85 euros for a night, and I guess it's reasonable during the season. I'm happy to leave. And my feet have already started itching. Oh Lord. The view is just magnifique. You see a huge hill as soon as you open the window. Now I'm checking out to move to the base camp to Alps. Ciao Nilo Pala. Thank you for your hospitality. Some people thought I was asking for a lift, but sorry, I was just loitering around before the bus arrives to take me to the base. Acting cute, because why not? So before we move on, let's talk about the small village where I'm standing in right now. St Jean de Maurienne, 566 meters altitude, a large-scale industry made up of valleys. One of the very important center for aluminum productions, mechanical industries, metals and woods processing, etc. Saint Jean de Maurienne has more than one asset to seduce the nature lovers and spots. Too privileged to be the starting point to climb the Alps, according to me and my program. I already started to feel like one of the bears of Maurienne. Sun is shining, the weather is sweet. Traditionally, Saint Jean de Maurienne has been a stronghold of a socialist left from the 1930s because of the importance of its worker-labor pool. Thus, Roland Merlot was the socialist mayor from 1977 to 2008. But since the 1990s and sociological changes in the Maurienne, departure of factories, multiplication of tourist resorts, decrease of the population with an increase in representation of the elderly, the right-wing vote has increased. A UMP Councillor General, Pierre-Marie Charbot, was elected in 2001. Nicolas Sarkozy was in the lead in the 2 rounds of the presidential elections of 2007, with respectively 33.5% and 56.62%. And in 2008, Pierre-Marie Charbot won the communal elections. As the city of Saint Jean de Maurienne is a sub-prefecture of Savoie, it is the seat of the arrondissement of St Jean de Maurienne, the canton of Saint Jean de Maurienne, and the communes of Cœur de Maurienne, Arvon. The city of Saint Jean de Maurienne is part of 3rd constituency of Savoie. What a beautiful village. Oh yeah. Now we are up to visit the village's most famous French knives museum of the very ancient and famous family, Opinel, which is globally recognized. Since 1890, Opinel has been manufacturing quality knives and tools in Savoie. Over the years, the Opinel pocket knife is simple, functional, yet ingenious, with its characteristics shaped with crowned hand hallmark stamped on the blade, has become an iconic, globally recognized design. Drawing on our ancestral expertise in the art of knife making, Opinel's collections escort you from garden to table every day. Now, let's talk about my favorite part of St Jean de Maurienne was to become the biggest fan of Monsieur late Joseph Opinel and his extraordinary family history of making French knives. Monsieur Joseph was born a genius, as he turned 18 and not only worked for his family business, having the hardcore passion for new machinery and innovation technologies at such young age. Ironically for me, out of nowhere, he also had a huge passion into photography and obviously built his own camera. And besides his family business, he also became the photographer for wedding and special occasions in his area, but against his daddy's will. So he later focused more on refining shapes and designs, invents cute small pocket knives, which was the biggest success. Of course, and evidently after that, the real Opinel was born as the founder. And today people from all over the world thrives to visit his precious museum, d'Opinel, just for his very long-lasting, cute knives. Joseph Opinel had the idea of making his knife into different sizes which would be suitable to different hand size or used for various tasks. So in 1897, he developed 12 different sizes numbered from 1 to 12. The smallest knife, named 1, included a ring, so that it could be attached to the chain of a pocket watch. Its manufacture as well as number 11s was stopped in 1935. Nowadays, the smallest Opinel, number 2, has a 3.5 cm blade and the largest knife, number 12, a 12 cm blade. In the 70s, a giant knife was produced in small volumes as a proportional items to be used in shop windows. The retailers were rapidly asking Opinel to produce larger quantities due to requests from private individuals. The blade of the giant number 13 is 22 cm long, making the knife 50 cm long when fully open. In 1565, the King Charles IX of France ordered that each master cutler affix an emblem on the manufactured items to attest to their origin and quality. To follow in his tradition, Joseph chose the crowned hand as his emblem in 1909. The blessing hand is that of Saint Jean de Baptiste, taken from the coat of arms of St Jean de Maurienne, nearest town of Alps-le-Lieu, birthplace of the Opinel family. Joseph Opinel added a crown as a reminder that Savoie was a duchy. All the blades and Opinel knives and tools have been stamped with the crowned hand ever since. Joseph soon realized that he would never be able to grow his business if he stayed in this remote hamlet. And this was around 1915. In the middle of the war, he decided to travel around the area to find the perfect place. That happened to be on the outskirts of Chambéry, where he bought an old tannery and its own waterfall on the canal. The premises were old but close to Chambéry railway station. Being at the heart of a large railway and road network was an important asset. Mules and oxen were used to move the factory from Gueverde to St Jean de Maurienne and then to move continued by train to Chambéry. A few months were needed to renovate the premises, and from 1917, Joseph, assisted by his two sons, Marcel and Léon, began the industrial and commercial development of the Opinel brand. The 29th of January 1960 is cursed for the Opinel family. It was on that day, 1926, that fire devastated the first cotton factory. On the same day in 1960, Joseph Opinel died, aged 88, after having spent his whole life dedicated to his company, and 30 years to the day after his father Marcel Opinel died on 29th of January 1990. 30 years of prosperity, increased demand, and at the beginning of 70s, the factory in the small town of Cognan, on the outskirts of Chambéry, became too cramped. The decision was then taken to build a new, larger modern production site a few kilometers away on an industrial estate in Chambéry, at a place called La Réveillère. At first, it was intended for woodworking, assembly and packaging, but since 2003, it has been the main site and the headquarters for the whole company. The Opinel knife is a popular everyday item whose aesthetics and functionality have won over generations of users. It has remained unchanged for over a century with a design that is one of the most successful of all time. For the reason, Opinel was recognized by the Victoria and Albert Museum in 1985 as one of the 100 best design items in the world, right alongside the Porsche 911 and the Rolex watch. Opinel is a part of French cultural heritage and is cited by the name in many publications. In 1989, it received an entry in the Larousse dictionary alongside the brands Bic, Frigidaire or Solex as a registered trade name with the following current definitions. Folding knife featuring a wooden haft with the groove in which the blade is inserted when the knife is closed. In 2006, in the beautiful 3-volume Phaidon Design Classics collection, the Opinel pocket knife is recognized as one of the 999 most successful designs of all time by a jury of international designers. It took until 2014 for Opinel to finally decide to tell the story of a family with an extraordinary destiny. A 160-page book was written by the author and journalist Jean-François Mespled, former director of the French Michelin Guide, with a foreword by Paul Bocuse and Michel Desjoyeux. The tale unfolds through revelations by Maurice and Denis Opinel and interviews with company employees. The book is beautifully illustrated and magnificent archive documents and photographs by Thierry Vallière. And that's it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in my next vlog for sure. Thank you. Bye.